Okay, this one is going to be even more fun than the last one. Again, it says find the limit as h approaches 0. But if you put 0 right there, you've got a bunch of junk divided by 0, which is undefined. So we can't plug and chug right away. We have to simplify this function. Okay. My numerator is the square root of 25 minus h, and then a minus 5 separate from that. You cannot take the square root of the 25 and say, oh, it's 5 minus h. No, 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 no. It's the square root of 25 minus h. You have to take the square root of the whole thing or nothing at all. So what you're gonna have to do, and I don't know if you remember this from a previous class or not, but we are going to have to take the numerator and you're going to multiply it by this, which is called the conjugate. It comes from a difference of two squares when you take a plus b times a minus b, and first times first is a squared. Your outsides are negative ab, your insides are positive ab, and last times last is negative b squared. But those insides and outsides always cancel out, so you're just left with a squared minus b squared, which is a difference of two squares. Whew. And that is how you'll get rid of a square root sign that is part of a binomial like that. Now, had that minus 5, had this minus 5 not been there, then I probably would have just squared the numerator that did not squared the whole thing, but you can't do that. So this is what you have to do. And since you're in fraction land, whatever you do to the numerator, you gotta do to the denominator. Oh boy. Okay, so let's FOIL the numerator. You are going to start with first times first. Now, when I take the square root of a 25 minus h times another square root of a 25 minus h, you can call that the square root of a 25 minus h squared. And then the squared and the square root sign cancel each other out so that all you're left with is the 25 minus h. That's what I get when I take first times first. Now, when you go to do your outsides, you're going to take this times that, which would be a positive 5 times the square root of a 25 minus h. And then when you go to do your insides, which is a negative 5 times that, you get a negative 5 times the square root of 25 minus h. But a positive 5 of this thing and a negative 5 of that thing ends up being 0 of it, and 0 times anything is 0. So outsides and insides just cancel out each other, just like they did up here. So I don't have any inside or outsides. And then that brings me to last times last. And it's a negative times a positive, so it's a negative, and 5 times 5 is 25. So last times last is that. And I need some space here, so I'm going to have to erase all this junk. Sorry. That was this part is actually like what I would do over a piece of scrap paper to keep track of all that crap. Okay, and then your denominator, I am not going to distribute it. I'm just going to leave h times, in parentheses, the square root of 25 minus h plus 5, because look what happens. In your numerator, Let me get a different color here. How about bright pink? Now let's use purple. Okay. If you have a 25 minus h minus 25, this 25 and that minus 25 cancel out. So all you're left with is negative h over h times all the stuff in the parentheses. And then this h and that h cancel. So literally you're left with negative 1 over the stuff that was in the parentheses, and the stuff that was in the parentheses was this. And now it's at this point. Here, just see, I was being lazy. I didn't feel like. This is all the stuff in the parentheses, which would go here, and that's where it is there. I was too lazy to write it all down. But it is at this point that we will take the limit as x approaches the 0, which I think I used orange before. We will now take this 0, and you're going to plug it in right there to simplify this. So it's going to be negative 1 over the square root of 25 minus 0 plus 5. There's the 0 right there. And of course, 25 minus 0 is 25. The square root of 25 is 5. And 5 plus the other 5 is 10. So my limit is negative 1/10. Negative 1 over 10. And how did I do? I did good. And there we go.